Welcome to SCC Plugged In Kids. Today we have a couple of gentlemen with us, Mr. Russ and Mr. Tim, and they are here to share a testimony of how God transformed their lives. Mr. Russ, can you give us an example of something that God did to transform your life?
Sure. When I was younger, as a teenager, I were kind of wild, did a bunch of stuff in my life. I used to go outdoors and all this stuff. And I tried to take a backpacking trip to try to set a world record. And me and my buddy, we started in Mexico and we were working our way up to northern Canada. It's called the Pacific Crest Trail. Anyhow, make a long story short, during training, I was carrying a backpack about 75 pounds. And it kind of wore on me after a while. And I didn't realize I was out of breath and I was kind of hurting in my chest. And I told my mom, I said, I think I need to see a doctor. And so she said, okay. So they x-rayed me and did, the doctor stuff. And then about a week later, they said, get back in here. You're hurting. You got a collapsed lung. And I go, yeah, and I'm on a backpacking trip right now. So my dad insisted and he brought me back to the hospital. And I got there and I was worse off than I thought. Both lungs were collapsed and a miracle happened. A doctor showed up from Russia and he said, I'm here to check on a patient that had a collapsed lung. And they heard about me and they said, well, let's give him the operation table. And so he operated on me and I'm here today alive because of him, but a lot of prayers too. But that kind of transformed me a little bit because now I knew that I was close to death and I said, people prayed for me, I better accept the Lord. And I got convicted on a radio station. The guy was preaching on the radio station and my ears were ringing and I just couldn't stop ringing ears, And I just said, okay, I'll give my life to Christ. And so a few years went by and I met a beautiful lady named Pastor Kathy. And kind of funny where I met her, and Knott's Berry Farm amusement park. But anyhow, long story short, I decided I don't want to go to church. And so she had a falling out and she finally accepted it. She went to church with me. And we went to a Church of Christ church and that's where her dad was going. And after that, we kind of talked to him and we wanted to be baptized. And so we went ahead and got baptized and he baptized her again. And when she came up, she was almost drowning. But anyhow, he wanted to make it sure that it would stick. But that's kind of how it transformed my life. And then I, later on started teaching children and both her and me are teaching children today at our church.
That's awesome. That is an awesome testimony, Mr. Russ. Mr. Tim, can you give us an example of how God transformed your life?
So my mom was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer in either 2006 or 2007. My mom was a believer already. I had kind of backslidden. I'd received Jesus quite a few years ago when I was in my early 20s, but I backslid and got into a lot of trouble and doing stuff I shouldn't be doing. Anyway, one day I was supposed to be meeting up with my ex-girlfriend, well, she's my ex-girlfriend now, but my girlfriend at the time. And I was waiting for her to get off work, and I drove down the road, and I had a very strong, strange feeling like I should pull into the parking lot of this place called St. Vincent de Paul's. And anyway, we went back up a little bit. So my mom, with her stage 4 breast cancer, was very, very, very tired. Could barely make the walk from the car to the front door of the oncology office where she would be getting her chemo. And so I didn't tell anybody about this, but I really wanted a special type of a walker from mom. The only walkers I ever saw had the 4 wheels and handbrakes. Well, my mom couldn't hold the handbrakes. She was too weak for that. And I didn't want 4 wheels for a walker, but all the walkers that I saw that had with the seats, well, I had 4 wheels. So I wanted a walker that had only 2 wheels and yet still had a seat. So fast forward to the day I was driving down the road. I had a very strong, strange feeling to pull into St. Vincent de Paul's, and I had no idea why I had to be there, but I felt like I needed to be there. So I'm walking up and down the aisles, and it's not a place I normally would ever visit. And walking up and down the aisles, and I finally made it to the very back, far right-hand corner of the place, and that's where they happen to keep all their medical supplies. Well, they had different walkers and stuff like that, but nothing I was looking for. But I found one walker. Had only 2 wheels, no handbrakes, 2 wheels and regular stoppers, like a regular walker, but it had a seat, and it was extra wide. And I'm like, this is amazing. This is crazy. This is exactly what I've been looking for. I still to this day have not seen anyone else with this exact type walker. But it said $12 on there. I'm like, sold. I gotta get it. This is awesome. So what I didn't realize is there was some sort of discount going on that day. It was a huge writing on the window. And when I walked up to pay for this walker, after taxes and everything, because of the discount, I think I paid a total of $8.43. And my mom still used that walker every day until she died. It was an amazing, amazing gift from God. And what it did for me was increase my faith, because I know the Lord can do anything. There's nothing He cannot do. And so for me, the name Jehovah Jireh, God is provider, means a lot.
Amen. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for sharing. Those are awesome testimonies. And we thank you for coming today. And we hope to see you next week. We're going to talk about Transformers a little more. Mr. Tim's going to give us some more insight on how Transformers are kind of like living the Christian life, okay? Thank you, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye, everyone.
Isaiah, so how do you transform?
To pray to Jesus.
You pray to Jesus? Good job, bud. High five. All right.
Miss Paisley, how do you transform?
From God.
Wow, good answer. Miss Leah, how do you transform?
From God giving me power.
Awesome answer. Miss Dakota, how do you transform?
By giving good samples to little kiddos.
Oh, that's awesome. But why? Why do you do that?
Because to make the world a better place.
Awesome. Thank you.
Away in the manger, now before our bed, the little Lord Jesus lay down His sweet head. The stars in the bright sky look down where He lays. The little Lord Jesus asleep on the hay.
Awesome.
More than meets the eye. Autobots raise their battle to destroy the evil forces of the Decepticons, the Transformers. Robots in disguise.